Hello everyone and welcome to Long's Toys. I have another Transformers Titans Return review for you today. This is the first wave of the Titan Master class. It's kind of a new class they're going back to. It's smaller than Legends. I would assume the price point is probably somewhere in the area of $5. I haven't seen them in stores yet, so I'm not 100% sure, but it's kind of in keeping with the mini-con packs from Transformers Robots in Disguise. So they're about the same size, probably around the same price point as that. So here in the first wave, we have Loudmouth, who refuses to stand upright for me. That's why he's leaning back. Nightbeat, Terrible, and Crash Bash. Now, the cool thing about these is all four of these are molded after G1 Headmaster Juniors. Crash Bash in G1 was known as Squeeze Play, and Loudmouth was Siren. So I don't know if they lost the rights to those names, so they just came up with new ones, but Nightbeat and Terrible are the same names. And you can really tell just by looking at the heads that they're definitely supposed to be their G1 counterparts of Squeeze Play and Siren. So they look really cool. I like the little sets. They just come with a little Titan Master and then kind of an extra little vehicle for the head to kind of ride. I mean, they don't really transform into a head with this. They kind of just ride this little vehicle or little animal. The backs of the packaging are all exactly the same. They're not specific at all to the figure that it comes with. But they look cool. I'm really excited to get a hold of these, so we're going to pop them all out of the packaging, and we're going to take a closer look. Alright, so here's all four of these Titan Masters out of the packaging here. I guess I'll just start left to right, so I'll start with Nightbeat. I think they did a pretty good job. I'll see if I can get a little bit closer here. I like the Titan Master. I think they did a good job with the color scheme. It's definitely Nightbeat. Same articulation that all of the Titan Masters have, little heads on a ball joint. Limited ball joint in the arm, and then these two hinges in the legs. If you go ahead and transform him into a Titan Master, I don't know, this face doesn't really say Nightbeat to me. Nightbeat usually has a visor for eyes. I feel like if they would have just done that, I think it would have been perfect. Not that it's bad, I still like it. I just think he should have a visor to be Nightbeat, but what are you going to do? I guess the original G1 toy didn't have a visor. I think I'm just thinking of the IDW comics. So I guess if they're going for a G1 motif, he wouldn't have a visor. But in any case, he comes with this little kind of plain drill tank thing. This is how it comes in the packaging, but then the directions show it already transformed into a jet. So that's a little confusing. Basically, this little piece right here, you're just going to rock back, and then you can rotate this 180 degrees. Then you're going to turn it over, and then the sides are just going to fold down for wings. So it's a decent little jet. It's not terrible. You can see there's pegs right there. And what they want you to do is move his arms up. And then you can kind of peg in his feet to that. And then he just kind of rides on top like that. It's okay. It's not my favorite of the, of the four we have here. But it's decent. Little drill mode, or jet mode rather. So then you can unpeg him. Just be careful because he pegs in pretty snugly. And then you can just go ahead, turn this back around, rock this piece back up, and then fold these down, and then you have a little drill tank. Now what they want you to do for this is transform him into a head, and then you're going to have to spin the actual head around 180 degrees, and then they want you to peg it into this, just like that. And then just kind of has that little cube on top. It's okay. I mean, I guess they just wanted something for the Headmaster to peg into, but, like he's transforming with the vehicle. But I would rather him just kind of ride it. I know with this mode it doesn't work as well as the other mode for him to just ride it. He kind of would have to sit like there and just kind of hang off the back. Also, it can become a weapon by just putting this down and having someone hold it. And then it would just be a drill weapon. It's okay. It's not the best. It's definitely not my favorite of the four here, but it's okay. It's got a nice color scheme. I think the plain mode works a little bit better than the drill mode. You can kind of see he's got some missiles molded in there, which is pretty neat. And he can ride it up here. You could even just sit him in there if you wanted to. So yeah, I like the Nightbeat head, but the little extra tank mode is not the best. But the cool thing about these is they are Titan Masters, so they can peg into any of the other, leader, Voyager, Deluxe, that any Titan Master works with any figure. So I think that's pretty cool. You at least get a new head you could plug onto somebody. The next one we'll take a look at is Loudmouth. He's Siren. I'm going to call him Siren from now on. I like the name Siren better. As you can see here, let me see if I can get this to focus without making my camera go crazy. Hooray! He looks pretty good. A little bland in this mode because he's mostly just gray and red. Would have been nice to have a little bit of maybe blue paint for the visor or something just to make a third color. Whoops. To make this pop. But when you transform him into a headmaster, I think he looks great because he's got the red visor, he's got the blue on the sides. Looks really good there. I like that a lot. Taking a look at his little vehicle. I think it's a fun little, like, just speeder. There's not really much to it, but I like it a lot. Love the Autobot symbol on the front. And you just kind of put his hands up. And he will just fit right inside. And then you can just cruise around. I think it looks great. I like it a lot. Kind of reminds me almost of like Luke's land speeder from Star Wars or something like that. Just very simplistic, but just cruises around. Doesn't have any wheels or anything, so you have to just simulate the movement. But I think it's pretty cool. For transformation for this thing, what you can do is flip these two side panels down. Just like that. And then this actually rotates up. And then it's kind of like a little, I don't know, just mover or tread mover or something like that. Now they want you to transform him and pop the head. Again, you'd have to turn the head around 180 and plug it into this. There's like a little headmaster connector there. So again, that's what they want you to do. Now I guess you could technically do that and then have a second Titan Master come over here and ride in as well. So it's really up to you. There's lots of different possibilities what you can do. Again, I would kind of rather just have him ride it instead of being transformed into it, which you could clearly just have him sit there and ride around. No big deal. And then, of course, for weapon mode, they want you to flip this up so they're level, and then there's a little handle that rotates around. Again, these things are not the most convincing weapons, and I don't know. To me, that's just a third superfluous mode that, hey, it's great they included it, and you can have one of your deluxes or higher wield it, but I think the two little vehicle modes are better. I don't really think the weapon modes are needed, but they're alright, you know, they're included, they don't hurt anything. I think this is definitely the better of the two modes. You do have to raise his arms, though, to get him to ride in it. But I love that. I think he looks fantastic. I'm going to save the best, in my opinion, for last, and next we'll take a look at Crash Bash, which again, I'm just going to call Squeeze Play from now on. Pretty simplistic, again, really only two colors. He's got a silver face. I think he's got little red eyes in there, if you can make them out, but they're very tiny. And then he's mostly this kind of magenta purple color. But transforming him into a headmaster, he looks good. I like that a lot. Can I get that to focus? There we go. Nice silver red eyes there. I really like Squeeze Play's head there for headmaster mode. Transforming him back. He's got this kind of winged dragon, which isn't bad. He's got a little pegs there so you can peg him in, and he can kind of ride on the back of this Khaleesi style, if you watch Game of Thrones. So you fly around on his little dragon, and you can see here that the tail is obviously another head for something else. Same with this head. Yeah, it's just not the best. I forget how the weapon mode goes, but I'm pretty sure you peg these forward like this, and then move this up and this folds down, and then I think you might actually get to rotate this back. I don't think this can rotate all the way. Maybe you rotate it down. There, I think it's like that. And then these two barrels are supposed to be the gun. Again, it's really not that convincing as a weapon. I don't really think most of these are. The dragon mode is okay. There's nothing wrong with it. I think the next mode works a little bit better. What you're going to want to do, and what I like to do to start this off, you can see how there's a little nub here on the back of his feet. I like to peg that into there just as a starting off point. And you can see that his bottom of his feet are going to form the bottom of the jaw for this. You're going to need to pull the hands up so that they're 90 degree with the body, like that. And then you're going to kind of rock it back, and his head's going to fit in that little groove. And then these wings are going to close around the arms. And you might want to disconnect this at this point, but there's a little channel for them to fit into. Disconnect the mouth at this point. Get this to go down. And then you're going to want to rotate the legs around. And I apologize, I should probably zoom out a little bit here. Oops, that's the wrong way. So as you can see, the hands of the headmaster become the hands of the T-Rex, which is what I assume this is supposed to be. And the dragon head is now his tail. And then this is the head of the T-Rex, and the legs of the headmaster or Titan Master become the jaws of the T-Rex there. So I think that's pretty neat. I think this mode works a little bit better than the dragon. Once you get it all transformed in together, I think that works a little better. But yeah, it's not bad. I think this is the cooler of the two modes. I love that Decepticon symbol on the head there, and I love the green eyes. So overall, I think he's pretty cool. The weapon mode doesn't really, and I'm sure I had the weapon mode mistransformed, but it just doesn't really work all that well. I think this is definitely the best out of the three modes for this mold. Last but certainly not least, in fact, I think he's the best out of the four, is Terrible. He's got a nice yellow face there with a dark blue and light gray color scheme. I think it looks fantastic. Transforming it into Headmaster mode. Really nice gold there. Again, there's red eyes, but they're kind of inset so deep you can hardly see them. But I still think it's a great head mold. Face mold, I should say. This is his little tank, which I think looks fantastic. It's a perfect little tank. He's got pegs down in there, which you can't really see, but you can go ahead, and I need to... Oh, I'm sorry, this folds in. That's what I'm doing wrong. So you can see the pegs are down in there. So you can peg his feet in, and then he rides around in the back of his little tank. I think that looks really cool. So you pull him out, and then you're going to flip him over. Little plane cockpit flips out, and then you pull out these things for the wings. It's not the best, but I like the gun or the tank turret on the bottom for some extra firepower, and I love that Decepticon symbol on there. And then what they want you to do is kind of lean him in here like that, so that these almost kind of become like the top fins, or the top wind fins, or however, whatever the, I'm sorry, I'm not very good at plane terms, but I think that kind of works. I like the look of it. He fits in there very nicely. It's a fairly convincing plane. Again, if you want, you can just kind of sit him here. He's not going to fit perfectly, but he can. So there's that possibility. But I think it actually looks pretty good like this. It fits in nice. And then again, you can... Whoops, he fell out. They want you to close the wings back up and leave him in there. And then the little handle pops out. And then this is supposed to be the weapon mode. It's okay. Again, the weapon modes are a little lacking, but they're there. They're not bad. So I like both the plane mode and the tank mode for this guy, and I really like Terrible's Headmaster or Titan Master. So I definitely think he wins in my book. I think the four of these are a lot of fun, and at the $5 price point, it's definitely something that's easy to collect, and it bolsters your Titan Master rank, and it gives you a lot of combinations. I mean, each one has 2 or 3 pretty good transformations itself, but also you can take any of these Titan Masters and use them with any of the other Titan Masters we've gotten so far. So you can use one of these heads on your Deluxes, on your Leaders, on your Voyagers. They're all the same size, so I think that's perfect. It's so much interchangeability and a lot of play possibility there, and I think that's really fun. So there are definitely winners and losers in this lot of 4. I definitely think Terrible is the best. Siren / Loudmouth is probably my second favorite, and then Nightbeat and Crash Bash / Squeeze Play are kind of tied. I don't hate any one of them. There are just some that I think pull it off better than others. But I recommend picking up all 4 because they're cheap enough that why not? And they're a lot of fun. I just think this whole Titan Master gimmick with this line is amazing. And again, it's reminiscent of Headmasters from G1, which were personal favorites of mine. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'd love to hear your opinions. Please like and share this video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I hope you've enjoyed this look at Wave 1 of the Titan Masters class from Transformers Titans Return, and thanks for watching.